Rawlings, former First Lady, founder of the 31st Women's Movement and presidential candidate of our great party, the NDP. May I request you respectfully to rise as we observe a minute silence in honor of the former president, our fallen hero, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. May his soul rest in perfect peace. In the wake of President Rawlings' demise, his family has asked for privacy as they prepare to put him to rest. However, this press conference of the National Democratic Party has become necessary for three main reasons. First, to offer our support to Mrs. Rawlings, spouse of the late president and the flag bearer of the National Democratic Party. Second, to set the stage for true cadres and believers of Rawlings to reflect on his ideals and legacy. And third, to remind Ghanaians and those who loved Rawlings and stood with him all through the years, through thick and thin, to beware of those who turned their backs on President Rawlings when he was alive. And yet, shockingly, support for Mrs. Nana Konadu Admiral Rawlings and the family. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, with the passing of President Rawlings, our supporters and sympathizers have been asking the executives of our party whether our presidential candidate has the strength to continue as flag bearer, considering her natural state of distress. We, the executive, in keeping with tradition, have not broached this discussion with her, as we know and understand that she needs time and space to grieve, and it will be insensitive to have opened up this topic. We intend to meet with her before the end of this week to have this conversation with her, and we will inform our members, supporters, and the general public of the outcome in due course. However, it is our wish that she would gather the strength to lead our party. We would like to inform the general public that our campaign is still ongoing, and our parliamentary candidates are out there canvassing for votes, and our regional and constituency executives, as well as supporters and sympathizers, are still campaigning and should remain resolute. Indeed, we intend not to glorify the well wishes of the well wishes or the wishes of our detractors. Friends of the media, the story of Jerry John Rawlings is inseparable from that of his wife and our leader, Nana Konadu Rawlings. She is the mother of his children. She is his love, his friend, his soulmate, his partner, his pillar, his counselor, and his defender. And he too was all these and more to her. Their hopes and their fears were shared, and together they shaped his political life and his impact on our dear country. She believed in him, and he believed in her.
Hello, bro.
Defense of the founder not to correct the lies in the book, Working with Rawlings. Today, the political henchmen who were utilized for such diabolic assignments have been rewarded with high positions in the NDC. And John Mahama and those who picked up the baton are also expecting big posts under a Mahama government. Those who produce forewords or books that cast the founder of the party in bad light are hoping to occupy the highest position in government on the ticket of the party, which was formed through the sweat and blood of Jerry John Rawlings. What did Rawlings do to warrant such disrespect from the NDC under the leadership of John Mahama? All Rawlings did was to be a voice of conscience, reminding them of his enduring principles of probity, accountability, and anti-corruption. Creeds the NDC under John Mahama blatantly disregarded when they assumed the reins of power. As a result, they sought to silence him so as to prevent him from publicly repudiating them for their unprecedented levels of corruption. We are troubled that some of these same persons, upon the demise of President Rawlings, now seek to lead in mourning the man. They have begun to shed crocodile tears. They spent thousands of dollars to sponsor videos made in Washington, D.C. by one Kelvin Taylor, who is tipped to be information minister in the event of a Mahama comeback, to insult President Rawlings in words, some of which we dare not repeat, and posted them all over the world through Facebook, WhatsApp, and other social media platforms. With the apparent endorsement of John Mahama and NDC leadership, Kelvin Taylor said, and I quote, "Rawlings is a modern-day Judas and a hypocrite. He and his sleazy wife are greedy. He behaves as a lapdog to the NPP government and always kisses the ass of Nana Akufo-Addo anytime he gets an opportunity to speak about corruption." He also went on to say, and I quote, "J.J. Rawlings is not God. He is bad news and a modern-day Judas, and such a man does not even deserve to be a statesman. J.J. Rawlings is a coward. You are a hypocrite and a disgrace on the lap of a midget." These actions were deliberate and orchestrated by the Mahama-led NDC to hurt Jerry Rawlings and kill his soul, even when he was alive. And now, the NDC, which was fighting over a book of condolence, ended up restating their contempt for President Rawlings by using a reception logbook as a book of condolence at their party office. We want to serve notice that the NDP will make it a point to expose those who are making feverish attempts to rewrite their despicable opinions about President Rawlings and readjust their abhorrence for the man after all the sacrifices he made for them. And now, upon his demise, they are seeking the limelight for more personal political gain. How dare they? If John Mahama managed to profit from the death of President Mills, he should not be allowed to do so with the demise of our beloved President Rawlings, and Ghanaians should not and will not oblige him that. And now that JJ is no more, John Mahama finds it expedient to utilize his death to galvanize support for his weakening base within the NDC rank and file and the country at large to salvage his 2020 campaign, which is going nowhere. Suddenly, the individuals in the NDC under the current leadership of John Mahama, who publicly vilified Jerry John Rawlings, have rediscovered a new voice proclaiming themselves to be the true adherents of his ideals. Those who publicly describe JJ using unpleasant words such as calling him a barking dog are now hailing him. Why? In what was widely reported by media outlets in Ghana, John Mahama during the NDC's unity walk in Ho in the Volta region 2018 was on record to have labeled JJ Rawlings as a Volta god with a small g, who did not deserve to be worshipped by Voltarians. In fact, he is quoted as saying, "We have worshipped the Volta God for so long. It is time to build a party beyond individuals. No sacrifice will please him." This was a classic situation where John Mahama made a futile attempt to turn Voltarians against their hero. It did not end there. Voltarians who felt they were going to be safe under the leadership of John Mahama were given the shock of their lives when Mahama deliberately sponsored candidates to remove all Voltarians from the leadership of the NDC during the national executive elections. Today, there's not a single Voltarian elected to a substantive position, not even as a deputy, in the Mahama's NDC. Today, the same Mahama who admonished Voltarians against what he claimed as worshipping of the voter god is frantically exploiting the death of the same voter god to salvage his failing political ambitions. It is too late. The most unfortunate aspect of this development is that, in an attempt to unduly benefit from his demise, the leadership of the NDC are embroiled in a desperate battle against the state and the Rawlings family over who has the right to conduct the funeral rites of the late president, whom they have so much maligned. What they do not know, or perhaps have deliberately overlooked, is the fact that they are robbing the late president of a befitting send-off. Or maybe that is what they want. They desperately want to reduce his send-off from a befitting state burial to a party funeral just so they can benefit politically. The wishes of President Rawlings. This brings us to the point where we examine the wishes of President Rawlings. It is an important exercise that true believers and cadres of his ideals must conduct, because honoring his wishes in his absence is precisely what is needed to honor him and his legacy. In doing so, I will ask a few questions that should get us to ponder over the man and his wishes. Would JJ have wished for the current crop of NDC leaders to conduct his funeral rites? The answer is no, because in Kita, for his mother's funeral, he was visibly pained and made his head known to John Mahama and NDC for turning the solemn ceremony into an NDC event. This was all captured on video. For Voltarians to support a leader who said Voltarians were treating him as if he was the voter god? The answer is no. Would he have wished for the cadres of the revolution to support a running mate who edited and produced a foreword of a book that desecrates his legacy, and by extension, the legacy of all those who sacrificed for our nation? The answer is no. Would we have wished for Mahama to continue leading the party and driving it further away from the principles and values on which he built the party? The answer is no. JJ, in an interview with Kweku Sechiado on Asasi Radio on 12 July 2020, categorically stated that he voted for his wife, Nana Konadu Rawlings, in the 2016 presidential election. When he was alive, he chose not to be part of John Mahama's 2020 campaign, and it would be disingenuous to seek to make him a part of the campaign now that he's gone. Much more so to link his funeral to the same party's activities. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 elections are due in a matter of weeks, but JJ is gone. However, ask yourself as a cadre or a comrade, ask yourself as you mourn his passing, ask yourself as someone who shared the pain that Mahama and his supporters inflicted on JJ when he was alive. Ask yourself as someone who believes in what JJ stood for. Would JJ want to vote for a candidate that he thought was not fit to lead the party that JJ founded? As a matter of fact, Jerry John Rawlings was eager to see Mahama lose in the 2020 election because he believed Mahama and his cohorts had departed from the very ideals of probity and accountability upon which the NDC was formed. When Mahama was elected as the flag bearer of the NDC for the 2020 general elections, JJ was blunt about Mahama's intentions. According to JJ, Mahama's intentions are not to win the 2020 general elections. His intentions are to simply hijack the NDC with his money in an attempt to show up again as the party's flag bearer in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we can foresee NDC losing this election, and 2021-2022 ushering in a new era for the soul and control of the NDC. That fight is inevitable. John Mahama has ironically themed his 2020 campaign a rescue mission. This is ironic because many die-hard activists who mean well for the NDC are waiting for an opportunity after the John Mahama's defeat 2 weeks from now to begin in earnest the mission to rescue the NDC from John Mahama and the Ahoys. Our message to all those true Rawlings loyalists and disgruntled disciples of probity and accountability is this: join the NDP now, and let's work together to honor what JJ believed in. Ladies and gentlemen, clearly, if you are a true believer in JJ, you cannot honor his memory by choosing a candidate who, together with backers, sowed discord between JJ and the party he founded and worked hard to discredit Mrs. Rawlings, his lifelong defender, partner, counselor, pillar, friend, confidant, comrade, and soulmate. As promised, we will call you again to update you on our presidential bid. But definitely, we will not glorify our detractors. Finally, we would like to the entire members of the Rawlings, Aguchi, and other affiliated families in Accra and Keta to know that they are in our thoughts and prayers. We wish to thank them and his wife and children for sharing JJ Rawlings with the whole country and the NDP. We thank him for his support for our party. Our final message goes to Mrs. Rawlings. We say stay strong as JJ would have liked you to be. As always, his soul will continue to protect you. Thank you. God bless you. Long live the legacy of Rawlings. Long live the revolution. Long live our leader. Long live the NDP. Thank you very much. Now, the last minute consideration is linked to the demise of Konadu's husband, ex-President Jerry John Rawlings, who passed away 2 weeks ago. Reports say the NDP leader has informed the EC of her decision. Meanwhile, the party is scheduled to address a press conference later today. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is fake news in capital letters and should be treated as such. Our leader is grieving and should be allowed to do so in peace. Our presidential candidate has not taken any decision to pull out of the race and has not been in communication with the EC. This is just the latest of the lies that the NDC has heaped on the Rawlingses over the last decade. The question you should be asking is this: why is the NDC panicking now over the candidacy of Nana Konadu Rawlings? Why are they afraid now? It is the ghosts of their own misdeeds and maltreatment of the Rawlingses and the due reward that awaits them on December 7th, which is haunting the NDC. Thank you very much.
And I don't prefer no more than Hosia, Etinasia, and can and ne, I can say, Ubi Concord Trouble, and Casse, one crown, na Jane, Nyansa, and Quechi. It is intellectual. Nemum, the news of the Ena a bois or may. Now, can you know, Sabisabio, and yet, Santanian professors and leaders. So they are saying. And in the American say, Obi a pain of Mampeni, I want any baby come. Now, no cancer when you're intellectual, but ni vision or the year. Not just a Nippon and Tennessee. So they are saying, and 19 year cancer. Sabi, young, you ever walk while I say Tennessee. And now, and I'm on 3 or 2 years, the initial vision. So in passion, and you ever pass a better. Now, yet was one, not a very important say, and Crawford, Sabio, Yabaya, Yadi, Nyansa, Nadri, Eddie, Jumadi, every like cadres. Nippon baby or NDC, and I mean, they are only Latter-day Saints. They didn't even see the revolution. So they are saying, it is any panel, one can say. Rawlings, Nijumedi, the initial Hunu, and any Manema, 1 tears. Into American say, true cadres must join the NDP.
Opening film, and a Motopi and an NDC among you, one Kata and a Papa, 1 8 to 1 indoor. Mubina, I say, Mubia was animal tuna and two. Then Omuni can say, Ubia or the Omobile. Now we feel now, we pass our time so. And they are you the actress, one
Okay, me das.
But on the Canadian, Obi Case, no big as a more that's what team a defended near candidate party or didn't move Jackra side, but more maximum. And think I then a more call for unity. Then more still, yeah, more can I say, in Pepe Mobile because I said
no, some young fan Pepe Muma and the young can say Obi and Fanokwan. But Nippon and this, you know, I was here can't send a city. Young fan Muma. It's as simple as that. Now, you can't be can't my name be and I make say, one as a leader, we need leadership over goodies. So they say, yeah, present we think that is not a style. Oh, and the can't say, we place leadership over goodies. And we think say leadership is sufficient for goodies and not political goodies as sufficient and a mask. So obi leader be bano kazona meto nsio milk nsio me say what is like mask to show his incompetence and the insincerity. So that's it. That is it. And we are saying say let us apply the ideals. And the photocast says that the two-ended political puzzle one participatory democracy just say obi nko ka say abatu aye kwakotui stakes are high. Stakes in any day. So they say, I don't know what are the stakes? The stakes say a general for the well-being of Ghana, for harnessing our resources, so safeguarding a year. Any those stakes bear national character. So, and then you can. But yes, Obi can say, the stakes are high because me kwako sit down be or major 10%. Me kwako ye bibi or major 5%. So they say.
If you brown man can either that it call the young baby before you. If you don't know, I can say a first one NDC and sympathy good. So I don't know.
Oh well, anything you was say you do your name sympathy good to say. Was say you do your name near tears here. Sebi I say say ukia brewan wo kwakoto for more we be kwakoto of here dey wo hwe ho yes enti you say you obenya sympathy vote na etuji Ghana man sorry